What I want to discuss at the outset is a clip that I saw between Smile to Jannah, who is a British Pakistani YouTuber and debater. He debates at Speakers Corner. So he does public debates in Speakers Corner. And he is praying, right? So he's done probably some debates earlier on in the day. I don't know what prayer salah they were praying, but he's praying with another brother, and this lady who's dressed like Jimmy Savile, right? Just complete red tracksuit, the white hair, and she comes up to Smile to Jannah, and she says, "Why are you praying? What are you doing? You're not allowed to pray." And he finishes his prayer, and then they start to have a conversation, and then they move places and they have a debate, right? Albeit quite a small one, because she gets utterly defeated. She gets destroyed, right? So what did they debate? They debate all sorts of things, but there's a question that he asks her, which makes the rounds, does the rounds, goes kind of semi-viral. And he asks her, so what are the British values? You know, here in the UK, what are the British values? And she thinks about it. You can see her thinking, and she's like, fairness. She says, fairness, right? And Smile to Jannah's like, okay, fairness? Fairness is not a British, it's not on the 5, right? He says, okay, try again. She can't name a single British value. This lady, this far-right agitator, who I believe is connected to Tommy Robinson, can't even name a single British value. And she's supposed to be this bastion of Western values and, you know, the British values, and the British values should supersede anything else. So what are the British values? Do you know? Right? Do you know the British values? You can't even name one. So let me tell you them. Democracy is, of course, the main British value here in the UK, but we've also got the rule of law, of course. We've got individual liberty. Liberty, what's liberty? Freedom, right? What's the next one? Fourth one. Tolerance of different faiths and beliefs, right? Which directly links into individual liberty, right? The freedom to practice your faith and your belief, and for others to be tolerant of it. They may not like it, but they must be tolerant of it. And then the fifth one is mutual respect, okay? These British values are significantly older than a lot of these people. All of these people. The democracy is something we've had here in the UK since 1215 at least. You know, it's varied, of course, the democracy, but since the Magna Carta, since the Bill of Rights in 1689, right? The Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which is a UN declaration. The European Convention on Human Rights, which is an EU convention, right? So all of these things, which are older than a lot of these people, all of these people, not a lot, but all of these people, of course, because 1215 is when the Magna Carta was drawn up, and they can't even name one of these values, but then also they disagree with these values. So if you disagree with our British values, there are people with fairer skin than me, right, that disagree with the British values. If you don't like them, then you go somewhere else. If you don't want to be tolerant of other faiths and other beliefs here in the UK, then go somewhere else. I'm sorry to say, right? That's the reality. We have British values here in the UK. Those 5 were, as a whole, introduced in 2014 under David Cameron, his coalition, by the Department of Education. But like I said, these different values vary, and democracy goes as far back as 1215, right? Tolerance of different faiths and beliefs is as far back as 1689 under the Toleration Act, right? And it's improved since then, but we've had tolerance of religion in this country for hundreds of years. So if you want to disagree with these values, if you don't like these values, then you go elsewhere. Oh, but I was born here. I don't care. There are many Muslims in this country that were born here. So do you see what I'm saying here? if you don't like these values, if you don't want to be tolerant of my faith or whoever else's faith, if someone's Hindu or they're Buddhist or they're a Jew or a Christian, right? We can live with different religions in this country. This country allows it. And it is only you who has rocked up, right? Now, for only a couple of years, you're saying, deport them all. If that means, millions go, then millions go. Where are you getting this from? You don't agree with the British values? Then you go yourself. You be deported. Because you obviously don't subscribe to these values. You don't have to necessarily agree with them. You don't have to agree with what I'm doing, right? And you can, if you want to speak against them, then you can, because we have freedom of speech. But for you to say that you can't practice your religion, well then you, my friend, are against British values. Okay? So she gets utterly destroyed, this lady, dressed as Jimmy Savile. And it's I mean, this has been the through line of the show today. These far-right agitators, very dumb, very unintelligent, not very wise, getting destroyed, getting dismantled intellectually, which is great to see.